सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं Hari Om. Namaste. I request our admin Chitra ji to bring us up to date. What is it that we saw last? Inform the link and then we move ahead. Yes, please.
Hari Om. So, the previous topic that we discussed was the metaphysical truth of the Atman. That is something that we started looking at. And we started off by seeing the shlokas where Arjuna is fearful of his conquest or the battle right now because he has a fear of losing his near and dear ones. And he is sensing that a victory over the loss of his or loss or death of his near and dear ones doesn't seem to be an actual victory. And Krishna begins to point out his flaws of thinking, where on one side he's talking about higher ideals and principles, but on the other side he's overlooking the higher truth and he's crying about death. And later, Krishna introduces the concept of Atman by explaining about the cyclic nature, where he explains about the existence of people whom Arjuna is grieving right now, existed before and they'll exist in the future as well. So he's referring to their souls. And Krishna explains that it's not right to grieve or shed tears on the battlefield, as it does not change the falsehood and the misconception carried by his opponents, though they are his family members, and reminds him of his dharma or the swadharma, and how he has to stand for the truth. And this is going to protect him, is what Krishna explains. And he goes on to give the explanation of the immortal nature of the Atman and how it is eternal and imperishable, and reminds him that death is only for the physical body but not for the Atman, and the soul continues its journey. And by understanding this concept of Atman, a person begins to develop poised nature in dealing with the situations of life, and because he learns to remain unaffected or not to get driven by emotions. So Krishna explains that such a person will experience ananda or the immortality, is what we saw.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Chitra ji. So this aspect of the Atman being eternal, that which is not bound to whatever limitations we are having because of our association with nature or Prakriti. All of us have a specific lifespan. We go through these stages: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Or in this Adhyaya, Krishna talked about Kaumara, Yauvana, and Jara. Childhood, youth, old age. Can somebody escape any of these who is born? No. As long as they're in Prakriti, they're going to be part. Sometimes some journeys are long, some journeys are short. We don't understand the logic behind that also. If you look at it on the surface level, it feels pointless. Why? Why is it that some people have longer lives? Why is it that some have shorter? Why does Aurangzeb have such a long lifespan? Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had such a smaller lifespan in comparison. One is a Krur Vyakti, another is considered a Aradhya and Devat for so many people because of his stature and the rise of consciousness that he brought about Surajya at a time when it was even the concept was not there. Obviously, he was given the strength by the divine and he was guided. But why did his life journey be short? Why was it short? These are all questions which we fully don't understand. Because we are emotional, because we are attached, we become like Arjuna, we get disconnected from the higher truth of the Atman, and instead we get trapped on the other lower circles, because of which we don't get liberated. We get bound and we try to prolong, isn't it? Can you prolong your life to an infinite capacity? Is it possible? Somebody says, you give crore rupees, I will give you a very long life. Will you go to that person?
It's
I think
not for lack of trying.
Yes,
It's not for lack of trying. At the
Huh.
moment, they're trying to find a way
Yeah.
to to lengthen the life.
Yeah.
I mean, we have arrived when in the Western world, at least as per my knowledge,
Hmm.
unless you had good food, etc., you lasted a bit longer than an ordinary person. Nowadays, we're all lasting longer. The ability is not there, neither is the backup there to look after everybody. So really, it's all artificial lengthening of life. There's no
Yeah.
quality of life.
Yeah. Yes. 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 And this quality of life, that is important. The machines can prolong a person's life to some extent, but where is that quality? Where is Chaitanya? Where is that consciousness which is going to
Yeah,
bring?
yeah. The
And
family
but
support is no longer there.
yeah, so
Really, if
many
you think
factors, n
about it,
number of
it's all
factors.
gone. Yeah,
Yeah,
more or less.
so then we have no power only, isn't it, Shashiji? Then we
Yeah,
are at this moment powerless if we do not have a source of power, isn't it? So
that's
then we
right.
have two options when we are powerless. Either become more powerless, that's even dangerous, isn't it? It's like in Sri Aurobindo's Upanishad. The person who's already in less power state, if he loses further energy or loses more strength. Who can choose to be weak? Only somebody strong can choose to be weak. But if the weak start to become weaker and weaker, then they will just perish. So then there is no option. You can say we are forced to search for a source of strength, a source of consciousness, a source of Chaitanya that will allow us to raise our selves. For that, we will have to disconnect from the outer circle and try to understand a source of power that is inherent. Krishna is pointing out that that source is within every single being. Is it Arjuna? You think this battle is going to be the end of the world or end of everything that you know. But you see, you were also there before, you are now, you will also be, just like your opponents also who are, and who will also be. If they're going through a cycle, it's like on the level of consciousness, there is something else taking place, but on the surface, we are seeing so many other things. And because we don't see that higher conscious, we are disturbed. But Krishna says somebody who is having that dhiraha, the ability to detach, look with a poise, a kind of what they call vairagya. Anybody has heard this word vairagya? Can someone, yes, please, can someone just share something about it? What do you know about it?
As per my understanding, Vairagya means giving up all attachments. That's
Ah,
my
that okay.
understanding.
Giving up. What does giving up all attachments mean, Shashiri? Leaving the
Living,
world?
living all
No,
attachments
living a simple life.
is
Okay.
worldly attachments. Worldly attachments, I
Yeah,
mean
we'll come
to
to
say.
Dr. Sarojini ji. One moment, ji. I'll just come to you, Maji. Shashi ji is adding something. Yes, please.
Giving up attachments, living a simple life, sattvic life, if you get
Okay.
my meaning, enough unto
Huh.
the next day kind of
Okay.
thing.
All right.
Very, very simple life.
Okay. So leading a simple life is what Shashi ji has said. Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Sarojini ji, you were saying something?
Living worldly attachments,
Means like resigning from the job and going away.
not going away. Stay here
Not
only.
going away. That is what we call Shvashan Vairagya, a kind of complete detachment which is taking you away from the material world. Arjuna was thinking the simplest way would be completely disconnecting himself. But Krishna brings him back. He says, Uttishta Parantapa, Uttishta Bharata. Again and again, he says, rise up, face this, but don't get trapped. Like later on, we get an example in the Gita, being like a Padma Patra, a lotus leaf that is in the water but not getting wet. You see, the water droplets, they don't cling to the surface of the lotus leaf. They appear like beautiful pearls. That is the Vairagi. That is a person who has understood. He's like, he's involved in the world's activities, yet not bound, free, like a Jivan Mukta. That is the liberated person. Later on, we'll see some examples that Krishna gives as well in the Gita. But now, this is something which Krishna has talked about. And I think Chitraji just reminded that there was a question about Atma and Atman race in the group. It was Sunita ji, isn't it? It was raised. Sunita ji, if you are able to unmute,
Yes,
I wanted to
yes.
just get a clarification, ji. The Atma that you referred to, was it what was it referring to? Atma.
I think, like, we all have an Atma, we say, no? Like, so I was thinking, is it different from Atman, or is it the Atma inside us, the spirit inside us? So
Ah,
I was not able to
okay.
understand
Okay, ji.
that.
It's all right, ji. But it's like just like Rama and Ramaha. Not too much difference, isn't it? Somebody will say you cannot say Rama, you should say Sri Ramaha or say Sri Ramaha. Again, this is what we can say nomenclature.
Okay.
But in regional languages, when we say Atma, भटकती हुई आत्मा, इसकी आत्मा, उसकी आत्मा, people have this fears of the Atma. And then what is this Atma? If the Atman is eternal and powerful, nothing is happening to the Atman. What is this story about Atma and everything? So is that somewhere connected to the question, Sunita ji?
Yes, I think
Yes,
it
yes. Okay,
sort,
all right.
yes.
Okay, fine, ji. Yes.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ji?
much.
Ji, thank you, ji. Hari Om. So now, just one moment, ji. Hari Om. Sorry for the delay. There was no Atma blocking me though. Yeah. So the Atma is what people use in the regional languages. That way, Bhuta also is used, isn't it? If you look at Sanskrit, everybody is Bhut. Everybody is human beings are called Bhuta, and we are in a loka. Earth is called Bhuloka. So that way, if you see, there's nothing to fear at all. But then a lot of stories, some people have certain lived experiences which bring, like, somebody may not have seen something, but somebody knows some very trustworthy person who has seen something that creates questions. Why did this person behave this way? What happened there? Yes, anybody has some experience or anything about, and you want to share something about what you've come across about this Atma? Okay, okay.
Well,
Shashi ji is saying, and then probably we'll go to Admin Chitra ji.
if you're
Yes.
talking about Bhatakti Atma,
Ah,
if you're talking about that,
yeah.
when I was a young girl in Pondicherry,
Ji.
my sister and I, we were living in a small one-room place.
Yeah.
And the landlord was very nice. He had 2 daughters and a young maid.
Yeah.
Comes dusk. Nobody
Hmm.
was allowed to go upstairs except us two, because we had a room upstairs that he'd
Ah,
built. And there was a
okay.
temple nearby. And so every night when I used to go home on my own, I used to see this thing sitting there. I had a big smile on its face.
And
And
this
didn't
was
have
in
time
which,
to mess around because I needed to do my work and get out and go have my food, etc. And it
yeah.
continued well for over a year while I was still living there. And at night time also we used to hear noises, etc.,
Okay.
etc. So
Ji.
there was a well in the back of the house. There were all kinds of things. But you
Ji.
can say, if you have an experience once, you can just say, oh, okay, maybe I imagined it. But
Hmm.
day in, day out for a year,
Yeah.
that is no imagination. Ultimately, we
There's
asked the
something.
landlord, anything wrong? The
Yeah.
daughters then told us we're not allowed to go upstairs because this part is haunted. Now,
And this was which year, Shashi ji? Roughly.
I'm talking about from 1970 to
Oh,
71.
then I don't know.
So
I may
yeah,
also have been in that stage because I was not born then.
you're probably a young man then, a very young man.
Ji.
But
So,
yeah,
yeah,
for me, it was all about impatience. Can you get out of my way so I can get on with my
yeah,
work and get away?
yeah.
Years later, that I thought, oh my God,
That was an
what was that
experience, this
all about?
crazy
But it
one.
was a regular thing. My
Yeah,
sister had the same experience, but we never mentioned it to each other,
yes.
so we would
Ji.
scare each other. Years
Yeah.
later, we shared notes, and yeah.
Huh.
So
All
there
right.
is such a thing,
Yes.
like you said, Bhatakti Atma. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
my experience.
Yeah, there are mantras, isn't it? You chant and Bhuta Pishacha Nikat Nahi Aave. We say Bajrang Bali's name and then all will disappear. So what
I
is
was just doing Mataji, please take
uh,
care of me, and then got on
uh,
with it. So I was
yeah.
sorted.
Ji. Yes. Chitra ji was adding something to Shashi ji shared some what we can say. I think even in these are supra experiences which are supra rational maybe. We're not irrational. They are supra-rational, beyond our mental logic. Certain things are there in this world which we cannot fully comprehend. Yes, please. Chitra ji, we're adding something.
Yeah, we generally, it is told that the souls don't have a gender, right? But
Ah,
sometimes when they try to check on a person who has been acting weirdly because they start speaking a language that they don't know. They feel they are having the
okay.
spirit of someone else and they start speaking a
Okay.
language that they don't know. And then when they just try to find out, they tell that this is the Atma of a man on a woman and all these things.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that is something that
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that is an interesting thing. Gender also, if they are now if the soul is so immaculate, so perfect, so pure, without any blemish, then what is all of this? So I think that is, I think, connected with Sunitaji's question, but it has got many directions to that if we look at it. But if we see, we are, yes, Payaji wants to add something. Most
Yeah,
welcome.
no,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
uh, like my student had that experience in Hong Kong.
Hmm.
So, one day he went to the storytelling session. They had a club. So, after coming from there, so he had to go down through the staircase, and on his way, where there were so many trees and all, so it was kind of a groove also. So there he saw one person in whites, and
Okay.
staring at him, and he was alone over there. He couldn't shout also, he was so nervous and all. uh, After climbing down the halfway, he saw at the back he was still there, but when he went down all the way, so nobody was there. And
Okay.
yeah, so he thought that we were having some stories, so he had some vision or so, or what. But no, he was absolutely fine. There were no stories. We checked on the group, so there were no such stories also.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
he had that experience and was
Okay.
very much
All right.
scared.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also,
Yeah.
Sushruji, one thing, um, uh, like near Jaipur, there is one place, Mehendipur Balaji. So it's Hanumanji's mandir. There they have one section where such kind of spirits and bad spirits are being removed by the
Okay.
priests. Yeah.
All
So
right. Okay. Yes, Payalji. So now we will have to look at which Atman Krishna is talking about, which he is removing. Right now, there is one big Atma, Bhut Atma or the fear Atma, which has entered into Arjuna, which is totally preventing him from doing his duty of taking part in the battle. Now, this Atma and the Atman, if you see in Sanskrit, Atma is the same thing only. It is one Atman or Atma. It is part of what we can say the Paramatma. The Paramapurusha is connected to, means it's like, we can say if we talk in terms of energy levels, if you say quantum energy of a supreme energy, a small energy packet is present inside each and every living being. It is the same. It has the same properties. And that is present inside all of us. We will be looking at its properties. What we saw as different stories of different people, which some have lived experiences, what they have seen. All of these are like what we call sanskaras. Sanskaras on that perfect, like it's like you have perfectly pure water Somebody pours some color into it. Then what happens to that perfectly pure? It suddenly appears that it has a color, isn't it? But actually, it does not have its own origin. It's originally perfect and pure, not having a color. This is just a outer aspect. You remove that color, you will understand its undiluted truth, what is there. So the real aspect of the Atman is that it is so perfect, it is so immaculate, it is so eternal. Today we will look at some shlokas, but Krishna talked about the properties of this Atman. And that same perfect Atman is present inside. What is this then? These are all sanskaras, or these are like koshas, or it is like how layers, isn't it? Layers and layers getting piled over something. Now, what do we understand by sanskaras in the sense? Fears, isn't it? We carry our fears with us or not? Everywhere we go. We don't want to carry them, but they are there, isn't it? If I suddenly say there's a lizard behind you, many of you will suddenly go, get up, oh, there's a lizard, because there's a fear of lizard being carried. There need not be a lizard, but the fear is enough. And that fear is what makes us freeze. If we want to deal with any other difficulty, we will look at all of this later. But the fear is the first thing that has to be tackled. And we have to recognize also that if it is there, it has to be removed. Because if we don't work on it, then that only, that what Brahma Rakshas will be born out of that fear. In Maharashtra, there is a saying, Biti Poti Brahma Rakshas. Somebody is afraid, and that person's fear becomes more and more strong and manifest. That is that fear only gives the attachment to that whatever force we are talking about, which we do not recognize. We start imagining even worst case scenarios. I didn't think I was afraid of snakes because I saw a lot of them on TV. So it was fine. But what happened was when I saw a huge snake I remember in school, it was seventh or eighth class, and it was just slithering in front of me. It was just, I was so scared that I felt like my feet have got glued to the ground. I could have just taken a few steps and moved back also would have been enough for me. But my fear made my legs freeze. It was something like the fear has made me forget my own power. Fear has eaten up my strength. Now, this fear sits in many forms. Some people see this way, some people see other things. And if we look at what I think Shashiji talked about is one of her experiences, she and her sister both got this. Because these are what there are some residues of some sanskars which have not in the eighth adhyaya we will see yogis. Yogis live their life overcoming all these fears, overcoming all these sanskars. In a vairagya, they start undoing all those knots. If those knots are not undone, they will be carried forward. They affect the afterlife journey also. Eighth Adhyaya talks about that journey of the soul after death. It's like the kinetics of the departing soul. There are pathways, there are routes. Like if I want to go from Pondicherry to Chennai, I can go by the ECR road also, or I can take a bypass, isn't it? It is something like that. Same way, the journeys also are affected by what baggage we carry. What we are today is determined by the baggage of fears that we are carrying behind us. The day we let go of those baggages, what will happen? We will also become like the Maharudra, Vajra, Hanumana, Maruti. We will also suddenly remember what are our sakala siddhis inside of us. But that we have forgotten because of the fear. Right now, Arjuna also says, Karpanya dosho pahatas swabhava. I am afraid, filled with a state of fear and panic, so I can't understand. If you recognize that inside of you that Atman is there, which is that Atman? Which is that force of a, what we can say, some residual being, something which has not yet moved on? What can it do to someone who has already got that realization? You say, Jako rakhe saiya mar sake na koi. God is protecting us. Who is going to be against us? Maharshi Arvind was inside of a physical prison. Designed, the system was trying to have him hanged. I mean, what more can you have a material obstacle? These are all subtle physical obstacles. But direct material obstacle, crude minds trying to end a life of a great luminous being. And inside of a dark, dingy, like It's not a cave also. It's a 6 by 9 feet prison, nothing there, no amenities. There he got that awakening of Vasudevam Sarvamiti, the experience of the divine everywhere. And then suddenly, what? There's nothing, no fear, nothing to worry. Direction is shown. So we can say, if you just see in the light of the Gita, Gita is not talking about those, at least in this adhyaya or this part when we are looking at, we are talking about the Atman, which is in essence perfect, not those extra baggages which are then in regional languages, what we give different names. So Shashiji wants to say something, isn't she? If you are, you're most welcome.
No, no.
No, okay, fine. I thought you got unmuted. So this is something which we see in the Gita. Sunita ji, this is one only. The Atman is one. Somebody will who is an expert in Dvaita Vedanta will perfectly give explanation of how the Atman inside of a human being is different from the supreme complete Atman. And if that person gives an example, there will be an Advaitic scholar who will spend an equal amount of energy to counter that and say it is what is there inside of the every individual is the same that is inside is the same as the Parabrahma. Parabrahma Purushottama is also the same Ansha inside every living being. Ekameva Dvitiya Brahma. They are one only. That is the Parabrahman. That is the Atman. So, if we just before we go into the next part, we can just understand this much that yes, for all practical purposes, the divinity is one inside all of us. And the other aspects, these are certain questions which deal with the occult dreams, unless we are directly connected with it. If we do not have to allow ourselves, otherwise, everybody will add to your fears what are already there. Instead, hold on to what stores of strength you have and ignore these. As how beautifully Shashiji and her sister, they went on with their life. That was so many years back. That's like how much? Almost 50 years ago, probably. Isn't it? Now, this is something which we'll probably understand. Certain times we don't get answers to every question. Do we have to get it right away? Are we conducting Viva of God exam? Answer my question right now. Then I'll probably give you a good placement. Are we going to say that to the divine? Instead, it's all right. Some questions, if we do not have the answer, we can keep them in abeyance. We can search, but not get so distracted what we have to do. Arjuna was so distracted from his duty that he forgot what his duty was, and instead he was trapped in the mind. We got to get free from it, and that is real liberation, getting out of all of this, the traps of the mind. So, with this, I think we will just continue. There is this Atman which is inside. Krishna says, this Atman cannot be killed. This Atman's strength. Let us just see once more. Avinashi tu tat vidhi yena sarva midam tatam. The 17th shloka. Avinashi tu tat vidhi yena sarvam midam tatam. Vinasham avyavayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. The truth of the indestructible self you must see. From the same self, the visible world came to be. And there is no one on earth who is so capable of destroying that self which is undestroyable, meaning this Atman is something which is absolutely powerful. It is something which cannot be destroyed. The whole visible world has come into existence because of this. Can we call this Atman as a kind of consciousness, a supreme consciousness? Can we relate that to it? Anybody? For our understanding, may not be the exact right answer, but for our understanding, this is a consciousness, a pure consciousness, that consciousness which is the source of all the consciousness in the world. If you see the Mahavakya, Ekoham Bahusyami. I am one, let me become many. That is the Mahavakya of the Upanishad of the Vedanta. Can somebody shed some light on what could this mean? Ekoham Bahusyami. Anybody? Yes, Rachna ji.
uh, the Atman shines out through, like, say, there is a pot with lots of holes in it. In different ways, the Atma shines out. So, just like that, the light is one, but it's shining out from each and every being in the world, in the universe.
Okay. Okay, that's a beautiful experience. This light is what we call the Brahman, isn't it, in the Vedanta? The supreme
Yes.
truth. That was one. It has become many, manifested in so many ways, like white light getting split into all the spectral colors, all those various colors coming out of one light. It is something like that. That one consciousness, which is eternal and immaculate, has split and entered into every one of us. We are all that only. That difference is not there if you look at it on the level of consciousness. But on the surface, there is a difference, isn't it? That is the entire
That is,
problem.
that is
Isn't it?
the pot with many holes. But it's
Yeah,
not, the light is not separate. It's the
yeah.
pot with many holes that is causing us to think that
Yes,
everything is
yes, yes, yes. In one Vedanta session, not in my session, I'm saying there's a story about it. A guru teaches Vedanta to his shishyas in a Gurukul, and one shishya hears about the Brahman and suddenly feels, wow, I am the Brahman. And he comes out thinking, I am the Brahman. He gets all charged with the knowledge of, I am the Brahman. Oh, look at these ignorant fools around. They don't know I am Brahman. He's very high on his knowledge, which he has probably not realized, but from information he has got about what Brahman is. So he goes on the road. Suddenly, a few people start running towards his direction. He says, oh, these fools, they are having fear. I am the Brahman. They don't know that. That is why they are running. Then one man comes to him and says, hey, there's a bull coming this direction, which is raging. Move away. He just laughs and scoffs at that. So the bull will not hurt me because I know I am the Brahman. Now, unfortunately, the bull didn't have the same realization. The bull has attacked him. And now this Shishya is not only hurt, he's got wounded in the heart also, not physically only. My guru taught me wrong. I am Brahman and I've got hurt, and he goes angry. He says, now I'm not going to leave my guru for teaching me all nonsense. I'm going to attack him only. What is the meaning of this? What kind of question? What kind of knowledge was given to me? So he goes to the guru. But the guru, being a Sadguru, he immediately sees his wounded, he treats his wound and, okay, calm down, probably have a glass of water. He allows him to calm down and then treats his wound. While that is happening, he just asks what has happened, and he hears the entire narration. He's still angry. He again concludes, why did you teach falsehood? I came to you in search of truth. You told me about that, about Brahman. I knew I was the Brahman. Why? He just asks one question. Didn't you say that Brahman telling you to not go on this path? So this is truth, has to be understood. At the same time, we cannot lose the connection with the ground. If we lose connect with the ground, then it really creates a great imbalance. Yoga is not about imbalance. Yoga is about balance. We cannot be great intellectuals in our mind and Uncle Podgers on the practicality. Meaning we're talking about great higher truths, and that higher truth is not manifested in the practical. Some people understand, they do study of properties of not the Atman of the Bhagavad Gita, they try to study the properties of the lower forces and lower spirits. Then they take upon themselves as they are the heads of associations which are responsible for raving spirits. And in the end, they end up doing something silly to themselves only. Instead of that, if we try to focus on the higher truth, all these other factors will not trouble us at all. We have to recognize that. So, what is this Atman? Because we need the strength, we need a source of strength, we need something to hold on to. If we do not have something to hold on to, what is going to happen? That's why it is said you need to have a Shraddha Sthana. What can the Shraddha Sthana be? Atma Rama, Ananda Ramana, Atma Rama. It can be anything. Your Shraddha Sthan can be your Aradhya, your favorite Ishta Devat. It doesn't have to be this Devat only, or my Devat more powerful than your Devat. That is another ignorance. As if gods are going to have some competition or a wrestling match, and who is more powerful. That again creates a bheda or a divide. Instead of getting trapped in all of this, hold on to that higher truth, and then you will receive. So here, this particular Adhyaya, Krishna is asking Arjuna to come on, look at the higher truths. Forget all of this anxiety and fear inside of you. Instead of this fear, which is having no basis, he establishes that the basis itself is faulty. It's unnecessary. Just like a lot of fears that we carry. And these fears are only weighing us down in life, isn't it? We keep carrying these fears, then they put one particular, now to counter this fear, you do one remedy. That remedy creates a side effect in another, so that another remedy. Sometimes people have, they feel very sad, they start praying to God, God, I have only 10 fingers, so I can only wear 10 rings. Why didn't I get 4 more? Because there are some more rings I have to wear to get better solutions in life. Well, this is not at all that which is required. Instead, I'm not ridiculing anybody's Shraddha, or it is a Shastra. It is a Shastra. Each of these, we can say the Jyotish Shastra is there. Like that, even for the Ratna Shastra is also there. All of these Shastras are Sanatan Shastras. But let us not become praise for people who are reading on our insecurities and fears, and we destroying our own lives because of it. In America, there is an organization which I will not name. They were promising good afterlife and they were taking money from people. And their basis was some kind of scripture also. They were telling on the basis of scripture. They had the nerve to collect. But forget the fact that they had the nerve to collect. There were people willing to give. I don't know what they showed them. This is the 5 BHK plot you will get with parking, wonderful chauffeur service in Swargaloka, or what is going to, I don't know what was given or what was promised, but everybody started doing advance booking in Swargaloka. And this is not too far away, it was a few years back. I do not want to name because the figure is a well known figure. If anybody knows, please don't mention the name. I will be in trouble. I don't want to talk about it. But this is what fear does. Here we see a great hero, not a young child, a father of a young warrior who is so powerful, somebody who has fought n number of battles, who has earned so many titles in the society, that Arjuna, who is also called Parantapa, harasser of enemies. Arjuna is coming to the battle, everybody would be like, no, I'm taking sannyas. I don't want to fight. Let me leave. So armies would flee. That Arjuna also, because of the fear, has now become powerless. So that is why it is important to connect with our source strength. That's why Krishna says, Arjuna, quickly push yourself out of these difficulties out to surface. Connect to that higher truth of the Atman. It is time you look there, see this Atman. This Atman is eternal, this Atman will not change. The universe is running on the basis of the strength of this Atman only, which created everything. He goes on further, giving some more definitions of that Atman's power. What is it? Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. That which no weapon can decapitate, that which no inferno can incinerate, that which even the waters can wet not, and which the mighty winds can dry not. Means what is this? This is the Atman, so powerful that it cannot be cut by weapons. There is no weapon that is sharp enough to cut the Atman, just like there is no fire that can burn the Atman. There is no water that can wet the Atman, just as there is no wind that can just dry. That is how the Atman is what Krishna is saying. This becomes very difficult to understand. But it is important to understand that there is something like this. That is the understanding. What will happen when you understand this? Anybody, what will be the practical outcome of understanding that this Atman is there? I'm not just telling blind belief. I'm just saying if you do get the realization, if you do get the understanding, then number of ways are there to get the realization of this. So many margas. But what do you think would be the outcome of such a realization logically? Anybody?
Relief. It's
Okay.
like
You would become,
Yes.
dislodging.
you would become very brave.
Okay. Shashiji said relief. Relief is in you're getting dislodged from
You
the
would
troubles
become
and
very brave.
okay. Usha Maji says you become very brave. Yes.
Yes, because we
Just
don't have to fear anything. We are perfectly safe, whatever the situation may be.
we are safe in the difficult situations also. A kind of a divine protection is received, isn't it? Do we
Yes.
receive the strength of the hero? Do we realize that the hero that we were waiting for, we were hoping that some hero will come, that suddenly you say, hey, that hero is inside only. Yes, Rashna ji is saying something? Yes, Rashna ji?
Uh, maybe things become so clear that we are able to just be completely ourselves, speak our
Yeah.
mind, and just go back to the innocence
Hmm.
that we had before things um,
Destroyed
made
that.
us something
Or
else.
okay. So okay. But innocence is generally associated with weakness, isn't it, Rashna ji? Sometimes.
No, like innocence, in not in the sense that
Naive, not naive.
not naive, but innocence like the trusting nature of the child.
Okay,
It does
okay.
not. It knows what the mother is going to give.
Yeah. Can we
It
call it
knows
a
that the
sort of
food
a
is
clarity?
coming.
Ji? Can
Yes,
we
yes.
kind of a
It
clarity
knows
of
the food
things?
is coming. It knows everything is all right. It just needs some food. And I mean, I'm not saying that we should just become
No,
like
that's I got it. I got it. I got the point.
yeah. The
Before just
trusting
coming
nature
to
of the child comes back,
yeah,
and that is the innocence. That's
trusting
it.
nature. Okay, yeah. Before I go to Arvind ji, I'll just I think sir wants to add something. Just a moment because Rashna ji shared about the child. I think sometimes this trusting nature, no, trust in the divine and all, we forget it because we think we are now too intelligent or we feel we have lot of understanding of things. Divine cannot work like this and all. But sometimes it's so much easier. There's a beautiful story I had heard about a ship that was sinking, and a boy's father quickly runs and tells the boy, son, go stand there, I'll come to help you. Don't worry. The son goes and stands in one corner of the ship, and he's just there quiet and not, he's so calm because his dad has told he'll stay there. And the captain is struggling to see and tell people to go on a particular side. Nobody is going because everybody is afraid. And he sees this boy standing in that hurry. He still goes and says, son, how are you standing here without fear? He said, no, no problem. My father is going to come. Now, this is a kind of this no aspect. Who is there? Means you see, this aspect, when this is not just blind faith, this is something a lived experience. Somebody who has overcome the fear can experience that. Look at how, if you see, for example, we quoted Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. How was he? What was his height? Everybody knows the story. He's not very tall in physical stature, but spiritual stature, there's nobody to equal the height of Maharaj. Even Afzal Khan was so big, he actually got a real darshana of the Raudra Roop, or everybody felt it was Bhavani Ma's, Sancharan happening through the force of her was going through him. This is a sword that he held in his hand was not his sword. That was a sword of Ma Bhavani only. Where did it come from? Or just look at a young boy dreaming of Swarajya when his father is himself bound by some treaties. He is supposed to serve the Mughals only. Then that time, what type of there were the Siddhis, there were the Mughals, there were the Adil Shahs, there were Topikars also, the Englishmen coming in from different direction. At such a time, just a bunch of youngsters deciding we will form Swarajya. And when children play cards and say this card is mine, this card has more power, here instead of cards, they are winning forts. And they are getting such a big following, and people are following, and look at that journey that is going through. Isn't that the strength of the Atman, which is manifest? A unmanifest strength suddenly manifesting. That is this power which cannot be stopped. Arvindji sir, you were saying something? Yes, please.
Yes, when the realization comes, you become Jivan Mukta.
Uh, you become Jivan Mukta. Yes.
Jivan Mukta.
Okay. That is a very interesting statement. What can be this Jivan Mukta? Anybody? Arvindji has told something. Who is a Jivan Mukta?
The
I
lotus
saw in
and
one
the pond.
organization, there were just before coming to Rashnaji, one organization, again, I'm not naming any organization, but I got their newsletter. My mother gave it to me, a booklet. They were handing down certificates of Jivan Mukta. It was in Maharashtra. This certificate is being handed, and then there is one young couple, and the husband is standing there posing with big eyes and the camera, and it is written that he became Jivan Mukta on the day of marriage.
The opposite.
How is it possible, and who is the authorization? Well, like when our foundation wanted to head this Krishna's Butter project, Gita for kids, a lot of parents said now one more. That time Damleji asked one question: who is going to give certificate on the Gita other than Krishna? Who has the authority to give? We will not give any certificate. So we went into that. But coming back to the point raised by Arvind, even Mukta, Rachnaji, you were saying something? Yes, please.
Jivan Mukta is what you said, the lotus in the pond. It is growing out of
Okay.
dirt and then it is not being touched by the Jivan.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
everything that is around. You exist and you do the same things, but it's hopefully it's different.
No negative consequences, isn't it, of bandhanas?
Yes.
It's a person who has become free from any kind of. See, he's not going to get excited because he's getting something he wants, or is going to get depressed because something he doesn't want is happening. He's going to look at them with freedom. जैसे रमता जोगी बहता पानी कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. The one who is in the, what we can say, in a state of oneness with the divine, no? If he succeeds also, he laughs. What a game. He fails also, he laughs. Oh, I fell very badly on my face. So funny. How can somebody find all these moments to be, normally one associates with attachments, no? Or a best way we can say is like, this is something youngsters dream of. I want to eat all the junk food and still not have an increase in calorie. That's not possible, isn't it? But for a Jivan Mukta, he does karma, but does not get trapped in karma bandhana. He is not going to create new sanskaras. He's not going to add to his baggage. He has no baggage, as Khalil Gibran had said, under the wide and starry sky, dig the grave and let me lie. Or how Sant Tukaram Maharaj has said, Hey Vishvati Majhe Ghara. This world is my home. Which house is going to take me out and which house is going to take me in? There is no, there is no difference. Like we were just talking about Atma, there's a beautiful dharana mantra. Swatma Ramo Ham Bhuma Parama Sukhi Svena Swasmin Swayam Brahma Sway Mahimo Bhuta. Means I am only that Brahman. I have got the anubhuti of it. May the ultimate peace spread across the world. May that happen. May this peace be experienced. Mantra is beautiful. That Dharana mantra. I'm yet to find out the composer. I just got the beautiful sister of mine. She also asked me, "Do you know who composed it?" I don't know who composed it. Another Jeevan Mukta only must have composed it because he doesn't care to put his name. But you see the meaning inside of it. If you see, there's one more beautiful line in it. Chit Kalyanam Hridaye Nityam. Chit Kalyanam Hridaye Nityam Sevya Seva Seva Karahitam Praptam Paramapadam Shantam Vimala Sukham. Means my heart, I mean, purification of the heart that is continuously, it's in the heavens. Purification of the consciousness is permanently embedded in the heart of that person. Chit Kalyanam Hridaye Nityam. Sevya Seva Seva Karahitam. Who is doing the service and who is receiving the service, both have disappeared now. That Dvandva has disappeared. And so I have received the higher status already. What is that? Again, it goes to that first line, Svatma Ramoham Bhuma Parama Sukhi. Means this aspect of liberation, this is something which comes into a person. To understand that, to understand what our dharma is, we have to first recognize. If we don't recognize the divinity, we keep doing according to our own rigid, limited mind, we are going to get trapped in our action reaction circle. We will not know what new Mahabharatas we are starting. Dhritarashtra did not want his children to get killed, isn't it? No father wants their children to get killed anytime. And yet Dhritarashtra was the cause of the entire Mahabharata, if you look at it. Because why? He did not hold the ear of his son at the right time, or he didn't give him the punishment to point out you are wrong. The Gita opens with the first shloka where he says, Mama kaha pandavas chaiva. An uncle is saying that this child is mine and this child is not. Brothers' sons cannot be sons. They are children, isn't it? Forget brothers and we are from Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We are one family. Are we going to create divide on jati, on caste basis, on monetary basis, on ideology basis? If we are going to keep doing that, we are going to create more and more grounds for Mahabharata, and we saw what carnage took place. So this aspect, the connection with the divine is very, very essential. For that, we have to understand what is the Atman. And that is why we must connect and try to understand. And what it does is it gives us this freedom. That is the freedom that comes in the way of Karma Yoga. When you get free, what they call about, like what Arvindji talked about, Jivan Mukta, it is something where karma bandhanas become just, they disappear. If we just have to, probably we'll stop at this point because Krishna first negates Arjuna's entire doubts. When Arjuna is trying to tell him, see, this is a frying pan and fire situation. He's depressed because of his mind and his mind is limited. His mind cannot perceive a higher truth of the Atman. So he's very myopic in his view and he says it's frying pan and fire. That time Krishna immediately tells him it's not frying pan and fire situation. He first tells him, let's see, there's the Atman. Atman will never die. If you're worried about death, throw that fear away. You and I are part of some beautiful continuum which has been going on. So first aspect, forget that. He then even tells him, even if you don't think the Atman is there or not, it doesn't make a difference. You still don't have to become so emotional and disturbed over what's happening around you. Instead, see the way forward. And means what is going to happen? If you see when Arjuna says it's frying pan and fire, Krishna just turns the table and says it's not frying pan and fire situation. It's a win-win situation. We'll just look at one shloka and then we go to the 39th. First, we look at shloka number 37 of the second adhyaya. What does Krishna tell Arjuna? He says, Hato va prapsasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim. Tasmaduttishta kaunteya yudhaya krita nishchaya. Uttishta kaunteya. I think we've all heard Uttishta Govinda, Uttishta, the mantra of MS Subalakshmi ji. So many people, days begin with that. So there we are asking Deva to awaken, and here Deva is telling Arjuna Uttishta. And yet our hero is not rising because his emotions are becoming a barrier for reception of the divinity. Divine Sarathi is there, divine has told him everything, yet he is not realizing because of that big barrier of the emotions. He says, see, forget all of this loss. What loss? What are you going, where are you going to get destroyed? What is going to happen? Where will you perish? How will you perish? You see this? It is a mighty battle for dharma that you are upholding. In this mighty battle to uphold the right, either the heavens' doors shall open on defeat, or your victory, the whole earth shall joyously greet. Success is certain, Arjuna. Rise up and fight. What is going to happen? He says, in this battle, what's going to happen? Suppose you become a martyr. You have fought for a cause, and that cause will go on ahead. Sri Aurobindo in his hymn to Durga has said, birth after birth we come and go. He tells to Ma Durga, we come to perform your duty. We do your duty on this earth and then go back to our homes. And we're going to come to serve you again and again, Mother, for your will, for your samrajya to be established. It is for this that we will keep doing. Our efforts will go on in that direction only. So that is so easy in a way. Means there's nothing to lose. You have already, means you're already on the path. As the mother says, nothing is certain but a certitude of victory. When you're on the path of truth, on the path of righteousness, even an effort is enough, isn't it? See, Ravana's army, everybody was doing so many efforts, they were all useless. But in the Setu, a small squirrel also, except according to the legend, a squirrel participated, isn't it? The contribution of the squirrel also was so powerful because it was the contribution for a cause which is the righteous one, which is for the betterment of the world, which is for establishing a higher order. So for that, there is no loss at all. So what's going to happen? He says, heaven's doors will open. Even if you get defeated, you have done the right thing. You have not fled from your duty. You have stood by it. Time and again, we have seen great heroes. Today, we are studying Bhagavad Gita in Bharat. Why? So many stood for the Dharma, isn't it? So many sacrificed their lives that the scriptures still remain because there was an attempt to even eliminate our very backbone, our very connect with these great golden scriptures. Libraries were burned after killing people. Why should anybody burn libraries? Because they are foolish. Because they think our knowledge comes from books. They cannot touch that source, isn't it? They'll have to try to burn the sun. Can they burn the sun? The Savita Surya. It's already burning. You go closer, you will only get burnt. It is as simple as that. So from there, so what if some Upanishads are lost? Newer Upanishads will come. Future generations will write newer Vedas also. We will see because the source of knowledge is one. So here you are working for a cause that is higher. There is no defeat there. Say you lose your life, you will still move ahead, progress towards what is the Swarga Loka. And on the second, what if you don't lose your life? What if you live and you are successful? Well, there is a celebration, isn't it? There's joy to the world. There's just going to be celebration of the victory of righteousness. Either ways, he says, just get up. Yudhaya krita nishchaya. Get ready to stand up. What is the yuddha Arjuna had to fight? He had to fight a dharma yuddha. I don't think there are dharma yuddhas always going on every time, everywhere, but each of us is also having a Kurukshetra every day, where we have to fight and stand for what is our swadharma. That is a fight we cannot afford to lose. We have to. And this aspect, one of the ways to empower us in that fight to uphold our swadharma is to connect with the higher principles. The higher Atman is the divine spirit that will allow us. Because that gives us a direction to move into the next part of this adhyay, which is going to be on the Karma Yoga. Krishna is going to give the secret. We'll just look at one shloka and we stop here. Esha te bheta sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shrunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. Listen to what now I am going to reveal. That knowledge, O Arjuna, that lifts the wheel, that most ancient yoga of knowledge that liberates one from karma's bondage. Krishna is saying that karma bandhana also you will become free. What is it? We will see in the next talk. But this is a great knowledge which Krishna is saying, I'm going to give you. It's like eat all the chocolates you want, yet your sugar and cholesterol level is not going to increase. That's it. Everybody will go on that marga if there is a marga like that. Well, it's as beautiful as that actually. You're going to do karmas. You're not going to be disconnected from the entire universe. You are going to be conscious, and you will not be like, I'm not material person. No, materially also you are going to be endowed. Materially also you are going to be working for what? For the divine. And yet you are going to experience the freedom in the material world as well. That is what this karma yoga is. So the next part we will be covering on this. With this, we are ready to conclude. If somebody wants to ask or share something, you're welcome. After which we'll turn to Chitraji. Yes, Shashiji wants to share something. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to share something that I picked up
Yes, Ji.
on Atma and Atman. It says it's from hridayoga.com.
Okay.
So somebody had asked, what is the difference between Atman and Atma?
Yeah.
And it says the word Atman has been used to denote the transcendental self since the time of the ancient Upanishads. The word has two components, A, which is used as a negation, and Tma, meaning darkness. Therefore, Atma or Atman means the opposite of darkness, shining. It says it
Okay.
is a key concept in Hindu metaphysics. So basically, it's like a light that shines.
We will have to though check the root word definition which he has said because a is negation, I is not negation actually.
So there is I and there is the difference. So
And
it's not
I is a
Atma.
different.
So it's not Atma, then it's Atma.
And no, the means instead of going into the grammar because that person has
Sure.
explained because when we say Sat is truth, Asat is falsehood, Mrut, Amrut. So, but
Oh, okay.
so
I
yeah,
get it.
but this is just some we'll have to see that because that is one sometimes the online we do have sometimes a disadvantage of not exactly going into the root words, but Atma or means when I say I am Atma Brahma. Now this Atma here is not so different from Atman also if you just look at it. Means in the Veda and the Upanishads also we have the word I am Atma Brahma. So the Atma is again connected to the Supreme Atma only. So maybe somebody has given their opinion of Atman probably
Okay.
being Parabrahma and Atma not being that or
Mm,
something because
yeah.
that is an interesting thing that in the Dvaita person will under means even Bhagavad Gita is used as a base scripture for Dvaita interpretation also. Bhagavad Gita is also the Praman Shastra for Advaita. If you go to Vishishta Advaita also they use same Bhagavad Gita as Pramana because interpretations can be multiple. Yes, ji.
Okay. It's just that I like the basic for me that
No,
Atman,
even I am
for
not
me, it was
fully.
shining light.
No,
That
but that
was a
could be
lovely
no. What you
concept.
understood probably would be you can just write down and share in the group because your understanding might actually be very useful for all of us. Ji. But this
Thank you.
start only add to that particular part. Probably I'm myself not an expert in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
I rely very much on experts only. I try to
I
learn
think
from.
so,
Yes.
Sushruti, I think so. It is in Sanskrit Tritiya Vibhakti Atma Roop Atman.
Yes. 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 Like Sri Ramaha and Sri Rama. Somebody will say Sri Ramaha, somebody may say Sri Ramaha is improper to write. But it is up to the individual, I feel. Means like Bahina Bai would say, she would not say Saraswati. She would pronounce it according to her understanding. Saraswati, Saraswati.
Because
It
there is a
doesn't
grammar Rama, 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 Ha.
Ramam, Rama,
So
Raman,
like,
then which,
yes, it
yeah.
is a Atman. I think it is a Tritiya Vibhakti.
Okay. Atman, we'll have to see that. We'll have to see that. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah,
Tritiya exactly.
yeah.
Ji, ji, ji. But then is Tritiya Vibhakti greater than Prathama Vibhakti? No, isn't it? It's just a case on the context where we are using it, isn't it? If it is
Yeah.
which place it is just like that. But
Yeah.
that is an interesting thing we've had because many regional languages have similar words. They have got used to different. If you see in the south, we use Dvitiya Vibhakti more. And this Ramanujam, Ramanujan, and here it will be Ramanuja in the north. So yeah, right, Ji. That is true. Yes. Anybody would like to add something? You are welcome. Otherwise, we move to Chitraji for the summary.
I would just like to say one thing.
Yes, sir.
A friend of mine had told me that when she visited the Tuljapur temple, she had seen the apparition of Shivaji.
Wow.
So I just wanted to share that little bit. That's it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yes, actually, this is true. This is true. Emanations of Shivaji has been witnessed by so many. And this is actually it's a beautiful, interesting occult world. Only we don't have to quickly. It's like we don't want to jump into some deep sea when we don't know the swimming yet. If the time comes, we've learned and we want to go in, we go there. But otherwise, directly, it might sometimes create a lot of disturbance. And instead, if we practice slowly, if you see, Gita is totally taking us ahead. It is taking us ahead towards that only, whatever truths are there, all the truths. And the best part is, Krishna has promised, Dadami Buddhi Yogam. I will give you the knowledge. I will give you the knowledge that is necessary for which kshetra where you have been planted by the divine only. You become available to him, he'll give you all the knowledge. He will give you the knowledge, he'll give you the wisdom also, he'll give you the application also. That is what probably he said. And it's an interesting thing. Actually, today's question by Sunita ji gave us a very nice, interesting insight on certain other aspects which are otherwise not looked at too much also or ignored. Yes, all right. Ji. Thank you so much for the addition.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Ji. Thank you. Yes, we can conclude today's session. Yes, please, Chitra ji.
Yeah. Hari Om. So we saw that Krishna explains to Arjuna that the soul cannot be destroyed by a weapon or cannot be burnt by fire, and it's also untouched by water and the winds. And explains Arjuna to rise and fight, and says that he has nothing to lose. And as he is upholding his dharma and working for the establishment of the higher will. And we also saw that one must have an unshakable source of strength and faith that acts like a Shraddha Sthan. And it is going to be that light that does not get extinguished and keeps one moving forward. So Krishna reminds Arjuna to connect to the higher source and understand and remember the truth of the Atman. And we saw a little bit about who is a Jivan Mukta. So, a person who has realized and is liberated, who is free from the binds of attachment and lives in a state of bliss, basically, a transcended soul, we can call, who does the karma without getting into the bandhanas. So, such person is called as a Jivan Mukta, and he is the one who is a truly liberated one. These were some of the important things that we saw.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chitra ji. So let us see now what Krishna is there telling in this adhyaya about what is the way of Karma Yoga. Because one thing Krishna keeps us is he's always keeping us grounded with action and not losing connect. Probably there's something in the world waiting for us, which we have to be ready for instead of running away. It's like a student, I don't want to go to school, mommy, I want to be home. I don't think a child can be in the house forever, isn't it? The mother will directly take and throw you in the school without your, which earlier you're having a good chance to go happily, but then he'll put you in boarding school if you don't go at all. So anyway, let us conclude. Looking forward. Thank you everybody for the wonderful participation. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagat. Hari Om. Punarmilama.
Om.
See you again.
Hari Om.
Take care.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Namaste. Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari
Hari Om.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ji. Thank you, ji. Hari Om.
Shubharatri.
Shubhratri ji. Namaste.